So today we'll be learning about how to merge, join, or concatenate the data sets that will be working using Pandas. Okay. So yeah, today what we are what we meant to do today in this lecture is learn how to merge data sets in a SQL style joins. Like if you have learned about SQL or DBMS, like so you must have heard about types of joins like left join, right, central, and middle, and etc. How to join these data frames using indices, okay, and how to concatenate data frames vertically and horizontally. Vertically and horizontally means by how to join data frames by the rows, and horizontally means vertically means by columns, and horizontally means by rows. Okay, so let's get started. So why combine data? So what happens is in various types of real world cases you don't have any single file to denote entire data sets. You would need to work on multiple data sets and multiple files, and then multiple data sets will come in multiple files. Okay, for example, here it is multiple tables like SQL, or separate logs or reports that you will receive while for your data analysis. So you need to learn combined data so that you can easily work on the required fields, or you can or you don't, or at the end you get the meaningful insights. So you need to learn about how to combine data. Okay, so merging data frames, as you can see, uh, for merging the data frames we have a function called pd.merge in pandas library, which used to uh, join the common using the common parameters in the multiple files. Okay, so it has two arguments also, like on in which we give the common column in the data sets. I will show you everything in the code in just a second. And how, which type of join, inner, left, right, outer. Okay, I'm guessing you already know what kind of joins inner, left, right, outer are. Okay, so as you can see in the example called pd.merge df1 df2, which are two different data frames, on id, and how inner. Here on id is the common column. Okay, and how means inner means we have to just combine the entire data sets. Okay, so we will see that in the code. uh, let's just first of all initiate our data sets. uh, Pandas SPD. Okay. DF1. We are working on these two files, student details one and student marks one. Okay. So, so pd dot data frame. Sorry, not data frame. Read CSV, and we will be giving the path of these two files. Let's just copy path and paste it here. Okay. Now this is DF1, and DF2 will be p dot read CSV. This one. Okay. Just same. Okay. Now just for our understanding, let's just display the first five rows so that we can get an understanding like what kind of data we are dealing with. Okay. So here we have student ID, name, age, and course. This is DF1, student details. Okay. And DF2 dot head. These are their marks. As you can see, they have a common column called student ID. So we can merge this data set as according to a student ID. Okay. So let's get started. So let me store this result in another dataset called DF3, where we will be merging pd dot merge tf1 comma tf2 comma, and we have to give on uh, student id, and we will see all the results uh, on I mean, like, which, like, inner, left, right. Okay, first of all we will see inner, and we will print first five values. Okay, for the head function used to print first five value. If you don't remember, I also told you in the last lecture. Okay, so see, sorry, it has merged the data set according to the student id, this column, very first column. Okay, and what it did is it combined the result columns or records of both the files according to the common column. You can also call the student id as a foreign key if you are familiar with the SQL. Okay, so let's see. I'll copy the same line. The thing is, in this data set, I guess, because it is a very small data set, as well as uh, very clean data set, that all the types of join will have almost the same result. Either it is left, inner, or right. Both of these will get the same result, because uh, these both files have the, like, very clean or very uh, what summarized data. Okay, so if you want to practice some of real world data, you can just put on some two random actual random CSV files, not just not entirely random, but try to mm, post a little, add a little details, or add a little bit, uh, like just subtract or add some random values here and there. Okay, df3, here we will give df4, not df3. Okay, see, basically it is the same kind of result, because let me show you both of the files. df1, it is df1. Okay, as you can see, that is already arranged in the very very clean order. And if I print df2, see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 till 20, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 till 20. Okay, so it is a very clean data. Okay, so most of the time you will get the same result. Now, instead of as you see, first we did inner, which basically combines all the values. Whether, so what happens in inner is, like, even if uh, you uh, how can I say, even if you have null values or empty values on one side, inner value will still combine. Inner, basically what it does is, it sorry, that is concatenation. I'm sorry. Inner value, what will it does it? It will combine the data set into according to common column, as well as common values. Okay, which it will find in both. Okay, so for example, here is the two data sets. Suppose the middle values in this data set is deleted. Okay, so what will it does is, like, the one table it is deleted, and one table it is still there. 5 6 7 8 is still there in the df1, but 5 6 5 7 5 6 7 8, it's not in df2. So what it will do is like it will when combining the results, it will also remove 5, 6, 7, 8 like this these three rows from the resulted table. Okay, and in the left, what will it do? It will find the uh, matching values according to the common column, which are in the table 1. Okay, so what it is doing, like in the left, uh, it will look into df2 and find a matching column, matching values from the same column in df, from df1 to df2. Let me like frame it like this. Suppose we have student IDs. So what will left merge do? It will look into df2. Okay, will look into df2 and find the matching student ID values from df1. Okay, like it will go like one is matching and he has already one in the df1, so it will take these values. Okay, and in right join, what will happen is that it will first look into df1 because it already has the knowledge of df2, and try to match the value from df2. Like if it is matching, it will be there. If it's not matching, it won't be there. Okay, and what will happen in outer? Let's see what will happen in outer. Okay, I have told you about inner, left, and join. Okay, so let me just add it in the same outer. Okay, see, still the same result, but this time let me see if df dot shape. Let me check the shape. Okay, not df4. Okay, 20,9. Okay, so what outer is what outer is doing, like it is also combining the results, as you can see here, from the each and every column of each and every value. Okay, but in the df dot uh, outer, sorry, outer, it will match the entire all the values. Okay, now if you, but you will not be able to see in this data example data because it is a very small as well as very connected data or clean data. For that, you can like take two CSV values or SQL tables if you have so many, and come convert into CSV and then look into it. Okay, so from that you will get the understanding like how these all the joins are different. Okay, so let's go back. As you can see in the example, how inner join is merging the rows, like merges rows where ID matches in both data frames. Okay, as I was saying, like in the inner join, both the IDs in the column should be matching. Okay, and in the left, the IDs from the right, from the table 2 should be matching in table 1, and in the right, the table 1 value should be matched to a table 2 values to be in the final result, and outer is just like match everything. Okay, okay, as you can see, it is already written in the slide, like inner join only matching rows from left join all rows from the left plus matches, and right join all rows from the right plus matches. Since we were working on the data set that has already has all the matching values in the common column, so it will be matching all the values. Okay, but in the real world data set, you will what we will have is some data sets are matching, some values are matching, and some will don't. Okay, and outer join all rows from the both sides. Outer join is just combining the all the records from both the files. Okay, so what you should, when you should be use these types of join. Okay, for inner, you need to, when you need to clean data, you can use inner. For left, preserve the primary data set. For example, you have two data sets where one is primary and another one is secondary, which means the first uh, data set is important to you. And second is, yeah, second is okay, my if you like work can be done without it. So to preserve the primary data set, you use left, and then outer, like if you want to keep everything or combine. Okay. So now we will be learning about df.join, which is basically a pandas function which you uh, use the index instead of columns when index have meaningful IDs you want to quick combination. Okay. But it's also like how to combine the data frames, but it can do it like more quick. If you want to take more quick combination, then you can use df.join, or where your indexes indexes means these indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 have some meaningful values. Okay. Here we don't have is just a random or default index. So uh, both df.join and pd.merge have the same result. Okay. If you and if if you come upon some data set that have these indexes in a meaningful way, then you can also use df.join. Okay. Then you can use. Otherwise, I will show you in the code. It will basically do the same thing. Here, let me just write it here, df.1 dot join df2 comma how enough. Okay. I think there's some error. Okay, we have also need to column title but no suffix specified. Okay. Okay. Yeah, basically, we also need to give the common column in this. Okay. It's for student ID. Basically, this will act as your index. Okay. In the join. Why is not running? Let me check if there's syntax. df2 how left text label df. Dot. Okay. Like why it is not running? Let us check on. We have to give string list column index levels names in the color join on student ID. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what it is doing is like we need to index. Okay. I understand. I got it. Okay. What is happening is here it is like when we created the uh, these these data sets, the index was default. For to df.join to work, we need to give index. So it needs to have index. Okay. Here it is only as a overlapping column, but we need to specify like in the error it is given that columns overlap but no suffix specified. Okay. Index student ID. So we have to first of all specify this. Okay. Now let's first specify this, then it will be working. Okay. So index student ID. Let us just give on Let us try. Now we are in the experimentation mode. Name index is not defined. Change index is not callable. Okay. Okay, we will look into it in the end. Let's move forward first. So concatenation. Concatenation, what it does is like stacking data frames modes. Okay. So what it does is like it's a similarly concatenation of the data sets. Now it provides a two types of concatenation. Okay. Like uh how how you want to combine your data. Okay. If we give vertical axis equals to 0 in the argument, it will add rows. Okay. And if we give horizontal, it means axis equals to 1, it will combine the data sets with column. Okay. So what is doing is like mm, as you can see in the example, we have PD or concat, df1, df2, as we are working on two data sets and axis equals to 0. Okay. So when does the concatenation or concat function is useful? Okay. When you have monthly data sets or you get the data sets in the monthly in the at the first day of the month. What happens in the real world, like you don't get the entire data sets, or sometimes you work on a real customer data set. So when the real customer data sets, what happens, it will keep on updating, like after month or week or 2 months, you can uh, change or keep the frequency according to you. Okay. Then you need to keep the concatenation on the data. Okay, like keep combining the data. Okay, so like you have or okay, so or and when we or and another time that we can use concatenation is like when we have same columns and different records. Okay, as given in the third point, uh same column, which means you, as I was saying earlier about the customer data, it will have the same columns because it will take the same type of data from the customer, be it in the month or month after that. And you have different records because this time the customers are different or some details of the customers has been changed during that time. So that's when the concatenation is used. Okay, let's see that in the code. uh, so we were using concatenate. Okay, let's go. If I go pd, let's show it in a df5. Okay, pd dot concat. mm, just a second. Pd dot contact, we were having df1 and df2. Give whenever you have like multiple data in the concat, give them in the list. Okay, now if we combine it, since we don't have the common columns, in the we have one common column. Okay, so we will see like what happens in this data when we try to combine it with both row wise and column wise. So first of all, we will go with row wise. Okay, row wise means we have axis equals to 0, if I'm not wrong, right? Yeah, axis equals to 0. We will add rows. Okay, let's just df. Okay, see what it does. Did is like it combines all the rows as you can see here from 19 index 19. It just combine the another table here, and since it in the student of marks, let me write just df1 dot head and df2 dot head. So we have these columns. Okay, so what is happening here is, let's just see. Okay, from D Sneha Agarwal, the second table is starting. Okay, after then Sneha Agarwal. So what it did, since in the table 2, which is student marks, it didn't have any name or age column. Okay, or course column either. So what it did is it just put NA here. Okay, and since it has marks, so it gives the marks here. But in the table 1, since the marks was not there, math, physics, chemistry, English, and computer science were not there, it put NA in the first table. So what basically it does, it combine the table, but whatever value the other table does not have, it just simply put empty values, or we call NA values there. Okay, as you can see, there are some till half of the table here in the name column is NA. Okay, what basically we did here is let's just we have two tables and we somehow pasted them into a single table. Okay, now we will see like how what result we get when we try to combine it with the x is equals to 1, which is a column wise concatenation. Okay, see, now in the column wise concatenation, as you can see, this is the entire data set, and it is a returning a very clean data set. Okay, so what happened is it uh, combines the table as similarly that it combined the table in the vertical way, like rows after rows. It similarly combined the data into column after column. Okay, uh, in the table 1 we have these four columns. Okay, student ID, name, age, course, and the second table we had these uh, columns like student ID again, maths, physics, chemistry. So as you can see, there's a difference between concatenation and merge function on the pandas. Okay, where is the merge function? Yeah, here. What it is doing is, since student ID was common, so it was combining according to the values in the student ID, which was the common column. Okay, as you can see here in the merge. Okay, but instead here in concatenation, it is just like putting these two tables together vertically or horizontally according to our wish. Okay, so that's how concatenation work. And now I think we have some uh, comparison with join also. So let just fix this error here. Df dot one set index. I will use set index function to uh, convert a column into an index. Okay, I will show you like what do we get after that. Let me see if it's work or not. Df1 dot head. Okay. So what happened is now student ID is okay. Just a second. I think I have to store the value since it's working on the copy. Let's see now. Okay. So what happened is earlier we have indexes like this. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've set the column to an index. Okay. As you can see, there's some change in the table. So instead of 0, 1, 2, 4, I have in this index 1, 2, 3, 4, which is values of student ID column. Okay. So that's how you can also like set index of a data frame. Now I will be using the same function or df2 set index and storing it in this as and printing df2 dot head. Okay. See, similarly as in the table 1, student ID also has set the index in table 2. Okay. Now we will try to join those table as earlier we were getting errors in the join statement. For to jog your memory, df, yeah, yeah, this one. So df dot join, it is a type of join which uses index instead of columns. Okay. Like it uses indexes like the 0, 1, 0, 2, 1 values that we were having earlier. Okay. It is like if you, as we saw earlier, if we go by these default values, it will give an error since we have to give a column or already have to set the default set the particular index values. Okay. Because df.join uses the index. Okay. And to use df.join, we first need to have meaningful index IDs. Okay. Earlier we were not having any meaningful index IDs, so it was giving an error. Okay. And so now now that we have set the index here, student ID in both the tables, we will try to use the join statement. Okay. So let's go. df no storage df.6. Okay. df.6, we have the result df1 dot join df2, which is our student marks table, on how we want it to be in a join. Okay. Let's see now it's giving an error or not. See, now a join function is working. Okay. So what it does is it looks for a common index. Okay. Student ID. Since student ID was common index in both the tables, it joined according to that index. Okay. So you join statement, you need to have a meaningful index. Because earlier, as we were doing here, we were getting a lots of error. I think that is gone. Okay. So as you can see or we'll see in the recording that using the join earlier, we were getting an error like there's no particular index and all that. Okay. So now, first of all, you need to create an index to use a join statement. Okay. So other than that, it's basically same as merge. Okay. For that, for merge, you need to have common column, and in join statement, you need to have a common index. Okay. So that's how it is. Now, what there's some important parameters that we need to remember while using these functions, like ignore index true. Okay. So what it does is in the concat state. Okay. Yeah. In the concat, since we have already done the concat here. Okay. As you can see, x is 1 and it is a column wise concatenation. And let me also show you again the row wise concatenation. See, this is a row-wise concatenation. You have all the columns, but when does the column is not having any values common here, you all you will get NA value. You can call it NaN, NA value or empty values. Okay. So these are the types of concatenation. Now we will go back to concatenation, and there's some important parameters of concatenation function, like ignore index. Okay. What it does is avoid duplicate indices. Here, as you can see in the row wise, we have, I guess, in the row wise or in the column wise, we would have common indexes. Okay. Yeah. Or when you get in the real world data, you sometimes you will have is, since we I guess we don't have any common index here, just let's just take example of 4 here. Okay. What will happen in the real world data? You have 4 here, and then instead of 5 you have again 4. Okay. Similarly, after 7 you have 7 again. Okay. So what will happen? 1 0 1 2 3 4 4 5 6 7 8 8 9 9 10 10. These 8 type. This is the type you will get when concatenating the result. Okay. So ignore index will, if you put in the ignore index true, it will avoid the duplicate indices. Okay. And keys. It create a hierarchical index when needed. Okay. We'll see both of these. Okay. First of all, let us go with index is equals to 2. Okay. Let me go with the check with the we will go with both row wise and column wise concatenation. So first of all, let us go with row wise. Ignore index. Okay. If I set it true, see what is happening here is like earlier. Okay, let me like just okay. So this was the result earlier. Student ID we have, since we have the index here. One with after 20 it was repeating. Okay, from 20 then again from 1 till 20. Okay. Now this time what happened is, let me like copy the state code here. Okay, not 8. Let this put 8 here. Okay. Now, if we give ignore index is equals to true, what will happen is, see, earlier we were having like this index student ID. Now, eh, after putting ignore index, we will have just a simple index where it will start from 0 and go till the end of the values, which is 39. It means there are 40 values. Okay, since starting from 0. Okay, as you can see, it's just a way to like appeal or get a more cleaner data set. Okay. Similarly, if we go instead of now row wise, we will check column wise. Okay. Now this was the DF9. Okay. Since we are joining by column, as you can see, there's no like common or repeating indexes here. Okay. Now like uh, if we try to use the ignore index here, we will basically, okay, what is happening right now here is, what it did is like it just concatenated, pasted the column wise. Since column wise we have the common column here, index till 20, so it was not affecting here. Okay. Now here, uh okay, that's why I was getting a different result. I forgot to change the axis. Okay, see, instead of just removing, just remove the columns here. Okay. Other than that, it is basically same. As you can see, basically same values are there and same structure is there. So ignore index basically comes in play when you need to remove the duplicating indexes. Okay. Now we were seeing the keys. Okay. Let's experiment with keys also. df.10. Okay. Here pd.concat df1 comma df2. Index I think we will take as 0. Sorry, axis. Keys. What keys does is, if sequence of mapping of series of data, mapping is passed, the sorted keys will use as a keys argument unless it is passed. It is a case of value in which will be selected. Okay. Okay. This is a, if multiple levels passed should remain tuples. Okay. Construct a hierarchical index. So it basically what it does is it create a like if I give keys here to be, let's see if I'm giving the right value or not. Future one in the behavior of PD container with keys in a future version. Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, then. Okay, so what it is doing, as you can see, it is doing as come nothing like in this data set. But what will it do in the, since it's not doing anything data set, let me just read it out the description of it. Okay. Okay. So what keys do is like if it creates some tuple values which is which can be used to as to create a hierarchical hierarchy between the data sets. Okay, so as you can also see if you're familiar with the SQL syntaxes or SQL language, you can also think of it as a uh, I think I'm not doing the name completely. Like you have to composite values. Okay, they're like when you have more than one primary keys in a table or in a, and you try to give the table in a according to the combination of those two primary keys. So what keys does is give it like converts it to, it tries to print the data according to the those combination. Okay, since we don't have that kind of anything in the data set, if you try to like do it something in the real world data set, then you can try to experiment with the keys. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so real world example is there. Like we have two data sets, students and marks. Okay, so we have already done all these things because we were already working on the students details and student marks, and we did both merge, join, and concatenate. Okay, now for your task, uh, take some small two data sets. It will be preferable if you take it according to a real world data and perform all these things that we did in this lecture and try to print shape and head of all the combined outputs. Okay. So this is your assignment. And if you have now any doubts or anything you want me to repeat in this lecture, uh, you can say it now. Any doubts? Then I guess not. Then we will end this lecture here. Okay. So thank you all.